Previously heard on Chuck and
But
Bo.
regardless, as Chuck just pounds some equal into his coffee, shaking that bag and putting it in that coffee. He's ready to stir it with a pen now.
I am.
Stir it with a pen. There you go. That's disgusting.
Done it for years. I'm healthy as a horse, guys. How many sick days have I taken? None.
Well, you know what's going to happen now.
What's that?
You're going to have a sick day.
I don't care if I'm on death's door. I'm
There
not
you go.
calling in sick.
You
man.
won't?
I've been stirring my coffee like this forever. I'm fine.
I know.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
Driving my son to school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo
There we
show."
go.
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Just for the record, I was on death's door yesterday morning, and if I'd actually died, you guys would feel bad right now.
It did cross my mind.
Yeah.
And I
You
thought
guys were
I had to-
laughing and making fun of me, and like, well, what if he dies?
I had
What
to
are we gonna
weigh
do?
on it. I'm going to be honest. I had to weigh that chance while I was making fun of you, and I did. And
It didn't
I
stop
played.
you, though,
I
did it?
played the percentages.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that was
and
fair.
I thought if I let up, it wouldn't have been healthy for you. So I like just go in like you would always.
Yeah.
And we got to one point in the show where we actually questioned if you were at the beach.
No,
And
I was not at the beach. Believe me.
I want you to know. I said if you were, I wouldn't be mad at you. I wouldn't hate it. I'd be fine. I'd be fine. You know, sometimes a man's got to do what he's got to do.
I believe me. I was. I don't know what happened.
I was worried
I'm
about
here
you.
today.
Yeah, I made fun of you for 3 hours, and then I got
Well,
in the car
good.
and texted you to see if you were okay.
Yeah. Acted because you knew I'd slept through it yesterday.
Yeah, I did acknowledge that
Yes,
you
you did.
feigned
That was-
you feigned sincerity and sympathy for us when we're sick, and we were
I
going to do
did.
the best we could for you.
Well, that's good. That's good. I felt your
You know,
concern.
even
believe
if it
me.
didn't come from the heart.
I could feel it all the way from the studio.
Bart's
yesterday.
so happy you're back, Chuck.
Is that right?
After one day, he's so happy you're back. Edward, I think you can attest to this. Bart got to speak less yesterday than he ever
I
has in
heard
the history
you
of
just
the
like
program.
That's right.
went off on everybody yesterday. That's the word on the street.
I don't know what happened.
That's what they said at the doctor's office.
Yeah, I got on a little bit of a roll. I don't. I mean, I thought we just spit out a bunch of truth yesterday. Probably gave some some of the internet shows some content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Bart
You
get
don't
to
like
talk
that.
today? Bart, do you have things to say?
I've always got things to say, Chuck.
Okay. All right. Well, good.
I think
good.
Bart really wanted to go in on the Big Ten commissioner yesterday.
He really did.
And he was sitting on it pretty hard. And I mean, he's just ready to just sort of be shot out of a cannon on that deal. And he never.
He's
I never
already called
really-
him an idiot.
Yeah.
We weren't even on the
Yeah.
air, and he was already referred to as an idiot.
Yeah. Well, he is.
See?
Okay. All right.
What is the Big Ten? Not that anybody cares, but let's just have fun for a minute. What are they doing having their media days in Las Vegas?
Attracting attention.
Did UNLV join the Big Ten? Did I miss that? Did Nevada?
What's the closest school to Vegas? Is it like one of the? I guess it's one of the California schools now. I don't know.
No, Bart, they didn't.
Yeah.
They did not. And James
Okay.
Franklin
I was just checking.
just went in on the commissioner yesterday. I don't think we have the audio yet, but I saw it this morning. And he's just like, what are we doing out here? Our beat writers from State College can't even afford to come all the way out here.
It's like a
It's a
$1,500 ticket.
and it's a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
You know, I mean, these guys play in the Eastern time zone for the most
Yeah,
part
I
until
hadn't
they,
thought about that part.
recruited the schools from California, which made no sense either.
What, they asked Bielema where they ought to have it? He said Vegas.
Yeah.
baby.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I met my
Vegas,
wife
baby.
at the Win. I'm happy to be
Yeah,
here.
Yeah,
He loves telling that story.
I know he does. He's told it 1,000 times.
He does. We talked about Bielema yesterday. We talked about the state of Arkansas football. And I don't know why people are having such a hard time with realizing that the program is in better shape or as good a shape as it's been since 2012. And I saw one person, this is what happens on Twitter. They don't, I guess they don't understand the whole point and they said, well, there was one year where, like 2014, 2015, where they were better than they are right now. That's not the state of the program. That's a season. And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't win 9 games that year. And they won 9 games in this tenure.
Well, here's the great part for everybody that is feeling like, it's going to be terrible. The season's going to play out. And if it's terrible, you'll get everything you want. Because what you want right now is a new coach. Let's just be honest. When you talk about, you're sugarcoating everything, you're saying this and you're saying that, these people want a new coach. They believe that if Arkansas will just change coaches, that there's going to be a booster like John Tyson in basketball that's going to step forward. And they're going to peel 20 years off Nick Saban's life, and they're going to pay him $15 million, and he's going to come be the coach. That's what these people want. That's what these people think is going to happen. And anyone who doesn't say that out loud is covering for somebody. You're not going to change these people's minds. You're not going to. But the good news is, again, starting Labor Day, they're going to play a football season. And all the doom and gloom that you forecasted will either happen or it won't. And you'll either be proven correct or you won't. And if they change coaches at some point, we'll see if they get who you want. But you're not going to change anybody's mind right now. But if you're really going to take an honest look at this football team, there are some deficiencies and there are some good things. What there's more than anything is the unknown. Beyond Taylor Green, what the thing that stands out is the fact we just don't know because you've got all these new parts.
Yesterday we had Emory Hunt Jr. on. He's a CBS football analyst.
I heard about him.
And he was big on Taylor Green, which is why we had heard that from another podcast that he had been on. And so we brought him. He came on right away. Chuck, this was the fastest interview in the history of the show.
Really?
We saw this at 5:40.
I remember.
And by 7 o'clock, he was on the show. And not only did he talk about Taylor Green, this is what he said about the defensive line.
I think people are criminally sleeping on the defensive line. They legit look like hogs up there.
Criminally
sleeping on the defensive line. That point is that we don't. The point about that is we don't know what the transfer situation looks like in terms of how these guys play, how it plays out. But I was with Xavier Sori yesterday, which, by the way, every time I see a name with an X,
yeah, I know
it's supposed to be, I think, just Xavier.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, and he wants to go. He likes the X.
He likes being called X. When he first got here, I'm just going to tell you, I call him Xavier because I'm the same way you are. You don't actually pronounce the X, but he does. And it's Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah, I said, and I actually said his name wrong the first time when I was talking to him. I'm like, my bad, there's an N on that too. I was too focused on the X. Xavier Sori, he had 99 tackles last year. And then I talked to Larry Worth III, I don't know, a week ago. And these guys are smiling. They're so excited to play. They think they're good on defense. They love the guys they brought in. Everybody probably feels like that around the country. But, just reminds you, we don't know until they get out there and play how it's going to go. And all we've been trying to do, we've been doing a couple things, is talk about, the state of the program and what it's like at Arkansas and what the challenges are based on things that have come up recently, like the number of draft picks out of this state versus all the states around it. And that you can't just fire coaches. That's not the only answer to winning. But then we talk about the season and how good Taylor Green might be under Bobby Petrino, who's had an excellent track record with a second-year quarterback, having a quarterback for 2 years. And then people get angry. They get angry that we might suggest that something different could happen than sucking. They get angry. They're like, no, we have to suck. And I'm like, well, if we have to suck, why are you mad about sucking? Because it seems like you enjoy it. Well, and they're like, no, I don't enjoy it, but you stop telling me that we're not going to suck. And I say, I'm not telling you I'm going to stop using the word suck, but
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, seems stuck on it. I'm just gonna say it. You know, here's one thing. And look, I'm a fan just like everybody else.
Don't suck.
Yeah,
Just don't suck.
I'm a Cardinal fan, and the Cardinals are struggling right now. There's a part of me that thinks they don't care about winning anymore. There's a part of me that when they play, I just as soon they go ahead and get beat. So they'll sell all their assets at the trading deadline and maybe get some prospects back. I'm ready to throw in the towel. So I get it. I get it. When you're just purely a fan of a team and they're not fulfilling your expectations, it's very easy to just say, well, fire them all. Fire them all.
That's not the F word I thought you were going to use.
Yeah. Now, I know. But when I stop and gather myself, yeah, exactly. But when I stop and gather myself for a minute, I realize that's not the solution. Now, maybe some people do need to be fired, but throwing everything out the window is not the way it works. It's tempting to say as a fan. It makes you feel good when you say it as a fan, but it's never really the solution.
877-377-6963. We just jumped right into that.
I noticed that.
I guess we were just kind of recapping what happened yesterday for you.
Yeah, Bart's still not talking.
And away we go.
What are your thoughts on all this, Bart?
Let's take a break, and Bart can have the next segment.
Fairly
Bart's got a lot. He's got a lot to say. He's been percolating over there. And it's July 24th. Today's Thursday. We have a bang-up show.
Oh, it's a star-studded lineup. Really
Ralph Russo from The Athletic, longtime college football writer. He used to be with the Associated Press, been at it for years, always a great guest. Phil Steele. Now, if you don't know who Phil Steele is, kids, this is who. Gather around for story time.
Phil Steele. The
Bible of college football. The Phil Steele. There, look, Bart's holding it up. The Phil Steele College Football Preview Magazine. That's the guy of all the college football magazines out there. Athlon.
How much that run you, Bart?
Lindy's. Phil Steele's the one.
$19.99.
Good Lord.
You know what else costs the same?
What?
Hooten's Football Magazine.
They got a lot of full-page ads.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of full-page ads.
Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
Will join us at 8:40.
That's going to be awesome. That's great.
He's got a basketball camp coming up this weekend. They've got a parade.
That's great.
In Fort Smith for Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams coming up. We'll get into all that. All right, good morning. Glad you're here at 6:15 Thursday. When you went into the Hall of Fame, I think it was at a Western Sizzler.
I think it was. It was at a motel. It wasn't a hotel. It was a motel.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
When it comes to watching games, nobody does it like Walk-Ons. Over 60 TVs at every location, and the food and drinks win. Mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys and gumbo, plus fan favorites like the best burger you can get anywhere, and more draft beers and cocktails than you can count. Incredible food, wonderful service, and a viewing experience like none other. Walk On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
It's going to be a tough slog from now till the end of time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
No idea how a McMuffin could bring a man back to life. Because I'm just going to tell you, I wolfed mine down moments ago, and I feel like $1 million.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning. All right, the parade for Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams is tonight. The celebration in partnership with the city of Fort Smith, the Bakery District, the Riverboy Music Group. It's 4 to 8, Garrison Avenue area. Open to the public.
A celebration's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
It is awesome. And then Jalen is having his basketball camps Friday at Northside High School and Saturday at Springdale. Ages 6 to 9 are in the morning, 9 a.m. to noon, and then ages 10 to 14, 1 to 4 in the afternoon. We'll try to post this on social, but if you just go on social and look for it, you'll find it. And then we're going to talk to Jalen Williams at 8:40. How about these two cats, man? Fort Smith, Arkansas, go win the NBA championship.
I think they're going to show those rings off to those kids.
Oh.
Those kids will be in awe.
If you had a championship ring, Chuck, like if you were an athlete and you won a Super Bowl or an NBA championship, would you wear your ring?
No. Those things are huge. The ones the pros get are massive.
You wouldn't wear it out to dinner?
You know, when the Razorbacks win something, lots of times the staff will get rings, and I got a few. I've never worn them, but I have always.
You got to step your game up.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I've always kind of scoffed at those who didn't play who wear the rings. It's like, what are you wearing that ring for?
Well, you were part of it. You were telling the fans.
No. And
hey, listen.
But these pro rings are massive. I mean, they are massive. I'm not sure your finger could even hold it.
You are a part of it, and I'm going to go back to this archive of Steve Sullivan's and KATV. I saw Sully tweeted this. Lou Holtz talking about close games. Okay, after they lost a close game to Baylor, what would that have been, back in the 70s? Here's Lou Holtz. 80s.
That's what our football squad did. We have lost our last close football game at the University of Arkansas. You lose close football games because people don't always do the little things exactly the right way, and I'm referring to coaches, trainers, managers, doctors, and players.
Broadcasters.
You do the little things the proper way. You don't panic, you don't hope, you don't wish. You do what you know you have to do and what you practice to do. Forget about the situation, forget about the pressure. You can win close games.
See, you can be a part of it. Everybody.
Holtz said never a lot. I can remember Holtz saying when they lost to Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, we'll never be outsized again. Because, Alabama was just huge. And they played Texas one year. They moved the Texas game. This was like 1980. They moved the Texas game to Labor Day weekend. Now everybody plays Labor Day weekend. Back then it was unheard of. They moved the start of the season up like 2 or 3 weeks to play Labor Day. Holtz said, we'll never play on Labor Day again. And, of course, a few years later they were. But
I'm surprised Holtz never got into politics, really. I mean, he tried to. He basically loves talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's his thing.
But, yeah, he enjoys massive statements.
Yes, he does. He does.
It's part of what goes along with it.
When I heard that clip, it reminded me of, like, the greatest show open ever. Arkansas had lost to Rice, and they never lost to Rice. And Holtz opened his show. He said, because he opened his own show. And he opened it and said, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lou Holtz Show. Unfortunately, I'm Lou Holtz. And he had lots of things like that on his shows that were always clever.
He was great.
Yeah,
he's a great speaker. I loved hearing him speak.
He's the best.
877-377-6963 if you want to call or text the show. We'll talk football, I'm sure. We got a bunch of guests today. Bart is, it's the culmination of 6 months of hard work, and it all landed in one day. So we'd like to congratulate you on your effort. If we win any awards, Bart, I don't know that we're going to submit ourselves for any, but if we do, we'll give you a ring. You've already got a watch.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he's already got the only jewelry that's been passed out so far.
You know what I want to do, Chuck, is and I know you probably will ride separate. You don't want to ride with me in my car. But I would love to get you to get the assortment of rings that you have collected from the teams that you have been a part of, calling games that have won rings. And I'd like you to fill up as many fingers as you can. And I drive you to Blakeman's.
That's funny.
And I'll walk in and say, "Is Ben here?"
That's right.
Say, "You got any of these?"
That's right.
You want to go back there in the private Rolex room, and I'll show you. I'll kind of tell you my stories.
Bring me a purple bag.
Yeah.
And we'll.
Now look, Bo doesn't have any of these.
Yeah.
Could you give Bo something so he can tell a story?
The big difference in a pro ring and a college ring is the pro ring's diamonds are real. In a college ring, it's cubic zirconia. That's the
difference.
Now there may be some that were passed out that have real diamonds in them. I can assure you.
But when you're wearing them, do you care? Oh, I forgot. You don't wear them.
It looks ridiculous.
Why don't you get a chain and wear a couple? Just like kind of switch out a couple, and you can have them just like dangling around your neck.
That's kind of what girls do, I think.
One of my goals. I don't know, Edward, why I didn't put this on my New Year's resolution list, but if you don't mind, add it now. One of my goals is to take Chuck out and make him uncomfortable in public settings.
You're assuming you haven't.
just get him out of the house. What are you doing today? Oh, I'm picking Chuck up, taking him out in the town. We're going to go just meet some people and just kind of grow his social development.
That's right.
All right, Bart, Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room. What are you sitting on over there?
Well,
what's been percolating?
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm actually going to go in a different direction than I thought since you played that.
Well, you're multiple. You're multiple. I mean, there's many plays you can call on third down. We know.
Get that playbook out.
So you played the Lou Holtz clip about never losing a close game again. Did you know that over the past 4 seasons, Arkansas has almost as many close losses as any team in the country?
You sent that graphic yesterday. That's right.
14 one-possession losses in the last 4 seasons.
Oh, that's a lot.
Just think about if even half of those, if 7 of those were wins instead of losses, think about how different the conversation would be today, would be entering this season, would be, just in general, the vibe of the program. I mean, you're talking about what? Sam Pittman's 31-30 at Arkansas. Well, what if he's 38-23 instead? That's we're having a totally different conversation about Razorback football.
Well, can I go back to the Holtz clip?
Yeah.
And I want you to ask yourself while you're listening to this, who you blame. Because I know who I do.
And I told our football squad this. We have lost our last close football game at the University of Arkansas. You lose close football games because people don't always do the little things exactly the right way. And I'm referring to coaches, trainers, managers, doctors.
I blame the managers and the doctors.
Yeah.
That's who I blame.
Sometimes they do get blamed. Just, and they'll tell you that. Sometimes they do get blamed when things go wrong.
Let's call our buddy Wes Cox. Hey, man. I was listening to this Holtz clip, and I've been thinking about this.
It's your fault.
I think you're responsible for probably about half of these.
Hey, those guys can tell you some stories about getting blamed. I can assure you that.
Hey,
here's the thing, though. Holtz said that, because I can hear these people. That's why Lou Holtz a Hall of Fame coach. He said that after they'd lost a close game. I mean, and they lost more close games while he was here. I mean, Holtz made this declaration that day, and I can just hear people now, well, that's back when Razorback football was good. They just lost a close game to Baylor when he said that. We didn't just start losing close games to teams we think we ought to beat. And it wasn't just Sam Pittman that did it. It was Lou Holtz, too. They all did it. Every single one of them's done it.
Every coach here.
Well, every coach, period.
Well, that's true.
Has lost close games.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got this idea that there's coaches out there that are like 83-6 in one possession games. Those people don't exist.
Well,
you're lucky if you're 500 in one possession games. Lucky.
Well, the kind of numbers that you just threw out come from programs that traditionally have the best teams.
Well, sure.
Like they're loaded with talent. They've got the recruiting base right around their campus, and they just restock every year. And people just magically want to be one of these programs.
Well, you're right.
It's like,
it'd be nice.
And it's like, well, I'll tell you what. Like, let's just talk about Saban for a second. Sorry, we've hijacked your segment briefly, Bart. Let's just talk about Saban for a minute. What do you think if Saban came to Arkansas, which, by the way, for the record, before you run off with that, is not happening. If Saban came to Arkansas, do you expect that Arkansas is going to win 10 or more games year in and year out? Is that what you think? You think that? So let me further the question. Do you think the players that are currently going to Georgia, Texas, Alabama, LSU, name all the recruiting powerhouses in the conference, do you think they're suddenly thinking, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel further away from home and I'm going to go play at Arkansas just because I want to play for Nick Saban? People believe that that's what would happen. That wasn't even happening at Alabama. Those other schools were still getting all their players.
I read an article the other day, and I think there's some truth to it. People talk about Saban retiring because of NIL. He retired because he knew Texas was coming, and Texas was going to be able to do some things that Alabama wasn't able to do.
It's just crazy how we look at coaches like they can solve anything. By the way, can I tell you my Lou Holtz story? This is why Bart didn't get to talk yesterday.
All right. Tell the
story. Because I would go over there and get in the situation room, and then I would reel him right back out of the situation room. So when we had the Touchdown Club, I don't know however many years we had it. We bring in speakers every week, and we had Lou Holtz in one year. And it was at the Holiday Inn Convention Center in Springdale. And Lou Holtz had these special requests. He wanted to have a smoking room in the Holiday Inn, a suite, so he could smoke a cigar beforehand.
Smoked a pipe.
And then that's what it was,
Yeah,
a pipe.
smoked a pipe.
It was a pipe. So he wanted to smoke a pipe, and then he wanted to meet with all his former players that we could gather up. So we had a lunch for him and his former players. And that was before the Touchdown Club. So this is like 10 to noon in the morning. So I think he wanted Diet Dr. Pepper. Like he had a special request. I think it was Diet Dr. Pepper. So we got him a bunch of Diet Dr. Peppers, and they're in his room. And then we go to take him down to meet with his former players, and he puts these 2 leftover Diet Dr. Peppers in his briefcase. So he's carrying his briefcase around, you know, of course, what do you think's happening with the Diet Dr. Peppers in
Getting
there?
shook up.
They're just getting sloshed around in there, and he's just kind of. So he sits down, and everybody else is having, you know, what they serve, iced tea or water. And Lou reaches into his briefcase, and he pulls out one of these Diet Dr. Peppers.
Oh, no.
And I've removed myself from the room, and I'm right outside the door. And he opens this Dr. Pepper, and of course it spews everywhere. And he says, "Those damn guys shook that thing up on me." Well, nothing's his fault. No, I'm like,
There's a lot
you've
of
been
ego
carrying
in the
that
room.
around in a briefcase.
There was a lot of ego in the room.
But it was a wonderful speech.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it
He was
great.
hilarious.
I'm
He was
sure it was
great.
great.
And never lost a close game again in his life, right?
He never
or
did.
at least at Arkansas.
And the University of Arkansas has never lost a close game.
Never. I mean,
since
he
then either.
declared it, and it happened. All right, Bart. What else you got? We'll come back to your thing in a second. It's 6:32. This is what happens. Good morning.
Donuts, Red Bull, and lottery tickets. I mean, how could you want anything
Courtesy
more?
of the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, guys, you hear us talk about the Sweat and Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show. You've got your summer lineup set, but what about your skincare? Sun, sweat, and all of that time outside takes a toll. Hit up the spa at Sweatnum Cosmetic Surgery for a facial or sun damage repair. It's not just for the ladies, guys. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174 and get your skin in the game.
Summer storms and heavy rains can sneak up fast, so make sure your gutters are ready to handle it all. Hog Trough Gutters, locally owned and operated with 30 years of experience, installs seamless gutters made on site to protect your home. They're fully licensed and insured. Every job is hydro tested, and each one comes with a 20-year warranty. Proudly serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. Schedule your free inspection today at hoggutters.com.
You want to talk about washed? You're being brainwashed by idiots. You're following idiots.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I was just thinking this morning on the drive in, boy, it's going to be nice to see Chuck. And I don't usually think that.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It is tough being away from you guys, even for a day. I mean, it just felt like a tearful reunion this morning.
I teared
when I
up.
made it back in.
I teared up yesterday talking about Weichert.
Yeah.
And my kid's first home and the grandbaby coming and the nursery being painted. And
that's turning a house into a home right there.
Yeah, I had to settle down.
Well, the one thing, in all seriousness, about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, when you're buying a house, you're spending a lot of money. Chances are it's going to be the most money you've ever spent. And they respect that, and they understand that, and they want to make sure that you get every dollar's worth out of that home that you're looking for, whether you're buying or you're selling. Because when you're buying, obviously, you want the best home you can get. You want to have the opportunity to move into your dream home, and it'd be nice if you didn't have to spend a lot of money. Doesn't always work that way, but the thing that they will do at Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, is help you find every dollar available to get you into that home. There's going to come a time when you sell that house, and you're going to want to get every penny that home is worth. You want to deal with a real estate professional, someone who can get you what you need when it comes time to make that move. And there are always going to be stories about that first home and the grandbaby and all the things that are going to happen. That is what turning a house into a home's all about. They've been doing it since 1978. They're in Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson, and you can always log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Bart was in the Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room. In fact, he's still there, but we left him and went our own direction. And so we'll go back to Bart, and you were talking about one-possession games.
Yeah.
And, what if? And what ifs are, candy and nuts and whatever.
Yeah.
But how should we look at all the close games? So tell us again. Nebraska has had the most close.
Yeah, like 23 close losses over the past 4 seasons.
Okay. And Arkansas?
Arkansas's had 14.
Okay.
Which is like, I would estimate like the 5th most.
Close being what, one possession games?
One possession games, 8 points or less.
So 14, and how many have they won of those? Do we know?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have that number.
All right. So they've had most of them have been losses.
58. This is over the past 4 seasons, right? 58% of Arkansas's losses have been by a touchdown or less, basically.
Okay. So here's my question: What is that? What does that mean? Because there's 2 ways to look at this. One way, and I think there's only 2 ways to look at it. One way is you are in close games because you're not putting people away. You're the better team, and you should be putting people away, and you're letting people hang around with you. All right? You're like, that would be a Georgia situation. The other way to look at it is you're not the best team, and you are the underdog in most of the games you play in, and you're figuring a way to hang around.
Well, my question would be, how many of those one-possession losses, 8 points or less, were they double-digit dogs?
Not just dogs.
Yeah.
Double-digit dogs.
Double-digit dogs. And how many of those one-possession losses did they beat the spread? I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but what I'm driving at is this is my personal opinion, I don't believe Arkansas has lost a lot of these one-possession games because they're a choke factory, as one of our knowledgeable texters shared with us a few minutes ago. I don't think it's because they're a choke factory. I think it's because if you just want to get right down to it, the other teams have been a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Not a lot, but enough to win the game. We never give the other side credit. If we lose a one-possession game, we've choked, or our coach sucks. Their coach is better. He outcoached our guy. Sometimes the other team's just a little bit better than you are. And I think that's what's happened. You look at the year Arkansas won 9 games and went to Tampa. They won, I think, every one-possession game they played that year, with the exception of maybe one. That is the difference between 9 or 10 wins, 6 or 7 wins. That is the difference. But if you don't win those games, it doesn't mean you're a choke factory. In Arkansas's case, I mean, are you going to sit here and tell me that Arkansas has been better, that they've been one of the better talent-wise teams in the SEC the past few years, and anytime they lose a one-possession game to a team that's ranked higher than them and is a 12-point favorite, that they've choked? I don't believe that. Now, I do think that you got to find a way to win one-possession games. If you don't, in our league, you're going to finish near the bottom every year. And that's what's happened. But I don't think it's because they've been a choke factory. I just don't think they've had as good a teams.
Here's another knowledgeable texter, Hogball 30. Great players find ways to win the game, right? Right. Great players find ways to win the game, right? It's just that simple. You're right. Great players find.
I mean, look, everybody wants to throw out the cliche. They want to throw out the phrase that sums it all up, you know. And I get that. I mean, we love doing that as fans. I mean, we like doing it on the air. We like saying that one phrase that sums everything up.
The best teams usually win. How do you get the best team? The best team comes from having the best players most of the time. Not all the time, most of the time. The best players go to the same schools in college football every year. Tell me I'm wrong. Explain to me how I'm wrong.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that.
I don't. This is not a new conversation. It's the same. It's been the same forever. Doesn't mean you can't have success. Doesn't mean you can't have a better year. But you're not overcoming recruiting radiuses. Nobody's overcoming that. In the history of college football, please point to me the examples of people who are doing that consistently. I'll take one. Give me one. Give me one program that's winning 10 games year in and year out that doesn't have a recruiting base, a really resourceful recruiting base of 4 and 5 star recruits, NFL draft picks within 300, 400 miles of their campus.
You know, it's a different subject for a different day, but college basketball, the postseason can be wide open. College baseball, wide open postseason. College football, we know who's going to be there. You know, you can start pulling 6, 7 names out of a hat. If you want to look at the bigger issue here, why has there never been any sort of parity developed in college football? Why are we still talking about it? And other conference coaches are talking about it too. Why in the SEC, for example, have only 6 teams won since 77? Why is that? Why is it, like you say, the best players go to the same school every year? College basketball has traditional powers. There's no question. College baseball has traditional powers, no doubt about it. But their postseasons seem to be a lot more wide open than what college football's is. Now, again, that may be a different subject for a different day. But for whatever reason, in college football, particularly in the SEC and the Big Ten, you got the same teams doing it over and over and over again, and the same teams that can't do it over and over and over again keep firing, keep hiring, keep firing, keep hiring, and they're not able to do it. Maybe there's a bigger issue there than just our school or a different school. I don't know, but I've always found that interesting, that the other sports, you know, picking a national champion is probably a little bit more difficult.
Here's where college football has a chance. This is the positive side of the transfer portal, to have some non-traditional powers have better years. And that is because you can get players now that are at a Jacksonville State or are at a New Mexico State or at a Utah or wherever, and they can come to your school and they can play at a level that people didn't necessarily know, and Georgia didn't necessarily want them because Georgia was full. And so that's where, when I look at this year, are they going to have a handful of those guys? Corey Robinson comes from Georgia Tech. By the way, Xavier Sori, or Xavier Sori, who had 99 tackles for Arkansas, will probably have a killer year this year, came from Georgia, wasn't playing. He was buried on the depth chart because they were so deep. And he said, I kind of lost my confidence. I wasn't playing. So I came to Arkansas. I knew Travis Williams. He recruited me when he was at Auburn. Comes to Arkansas, gets an opportunity, like an all-SEC caliber player. Do they have other guys like that we don't necessarily know about? I don't know, but that's why I want to let the season play out. Brought to you in part by First Security Bank, where you always bank better. More convenient, friendly locations, helping you with all your banking needs all over Arkansas. First Security Bank, member FDIC, the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. Everybody's welcome to their opinion. That's just flat out wrong.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Why deal with the stress of commercial travel when you can fly on your schedule with Jet Aircraft? No TSA lines, no baggage claim, no waiting around. Just you and your crew flying in comfort and style. Whether it's a weekend getaway, a golf trip, or planning your football travel for the fall, Jet makes it easy. Seats up to 9 with a full bar, custom catering, and plenty of space. Visit Jet NWA for pricing and more. That's Jet with 2 T's. Hey, if you've been thinking about a new ride, now's the time to make it happen. That's because Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off their summer drive deals with some of the best offers you'll get all year. Trailblazers starting at $23,000, Colorados from only $30,000, the new Equinox EVs from just $30,000. No matter what you're looking for, these deals are real and they won't last long. So don't wait. Head over to Chevy of Fayetteville today. Together, let's drive.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Does the show feel like it's always a friendly environment? I was going to say, just
I
like
guess it depends on which side of the fence you're on.
It's friendly. Sometimes you get yelled at, but I mean, it's still friendly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
am not a planner, and that's the problem.
How does that, this may be a little personal, sorry. How does that work in married life if you're not a planner?
Well, evidently not well.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oh, Chuck, welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It's just really good to have you here. They had a fun little bit at SEC Media Days with the coaches. I guess the SEC
I heard about
Network
that.
or
That's
something.
good.
Hey, who would your emergency contact be? they had to pick another coach.
Oh, yeah.
In the SEC. Let's listen to this.
Emergency contact if something happened to me? It'd be Kirby. He's been the gold standard. Oh, Lane Kiffin. Why is that? Because he'll never answer. No, it would be Lane because if I call, it's definitely an emergency.
Got to be Mike Elko, because we have a friendship, so I know he's got my back.
Eli Drinkwitz. He's a loyal friend. Or Kirby. Kirby's closer. Probably Kirby then. He's closer to me. He'd get there faster.
I guess Lane, because he'll always get the text. He's on his phone 24/7.
I wouldn't pick me. I don't even answer my phone most of the time. Kirby or Drink.
Kirby's smart. Trust him.
The one I've known the longest is probably Drink. I'm gonna go with Kirby because I think Kirby knows everybody.
How about Drink being everybody's emergency contact?
I know. He'll answer his
What
phone.
in the world?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by Kirby because he's won the most games most recently. They all went with the winning coach or Drink.
I guess Drink, he answers his phone.
I guess Drink is loved by other SEC coaches.
I guess that's the deal.
Should we get Drink on before the season?
Oh, God.
Should we try to get Drink on here?
Why not?
Why not? Let's do it.
All right.
And Kirby.
Somebody in Alamo set it up.
We
Somebody's texting him right now.
We got his number. We'll call. Maybe we'll just do it next. Hey, Ralph Russo is actually coming up next to talk college football. He's always great. Almost 7 o'clock.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more. They carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today.
Hey, it's Bo. And for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page, Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Thank y'all for your show. It's a great format in the morning. It's really nice to have knowledgeable people to wake up to and listen to. So thank y'all.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
So apparently Chuck is in a cookbook.
Going to be published in the fall of 2025. So there you have
I don't know
it,
if I
right
can wait
there.
that long.
Oh,
Can I get a pre-copy?
So the bottom line is, I am going to have a recipe in there, fellas.
Yeah, what is it?
I have to sign a release saying it's okay for them to publish it for the masses.
Do they know that you stole it from someone else and it's not even
I'm
yours?
sure they suspect that, yes.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink the smoke.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo show."
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Well, people have been asking me, Chuck, when does the football conversation really ramp up on the Chuck and Bo show? When do you guys kind of get out of summer grab butt and into like real football talk?
When Ralph Russo shows up.
That, and, which is right on the heels of all the media days that are going on. Ralph Russo, now with The Athletic, formerly the Associated Press, longtime college football writer, friend of the program, friend of the various shows that we've had, and really does an incredible job of just sort of delivering what's going on in the world of college football. And so we got to find out today where Ralph is and what he thinks of where we sit in this college football landscape. Ralph, good morning. How are you?
It's a pleasure to talk with you again. It's been a little bit, and I'm glad to see you guys are up and running again with a new show, and again, pleasure to be on it.
Hey, thanks for making time for us. So you've been kind of taking it all in, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, all these ACC media days. What if there's one or 2 points that you've just kind of extracted from all this? What have you found to be most interesting?
Well, it's hard not to be drawn into the playoff conversation as each commissioner gets the chance to take the podium for the first time in a little bit, right? It's everybody. The last time I saw these guys was in Asheville, North Carolina, at a meeting in a swanky hotel, and they were trying to get some stuff done on, a new format. They were talking about ways to tweak the selection process. That's been a big part of the conversation, and it kind of knew things would go dark for the summer a little bit as people kind of got away. And I was interested to hear, like, okay, well, we're going to restart these conversations now, and everybody's going to get the chance to have a public comment about it at their own media days. And I think the most interesting thing is, it doesn't sound like anybody's really moved off their position. And it doesn't, and I think that there's a very real chance that no expansion could happen, which maybe is a good thing, frankly. But again, the fact that it doesn't seem like anybody's really moved off their positions, and that we are again sort of stuck in a playoff quagmire is a little bit of it's a little exasperating as someone who's covered this stuff for a few years, and to think that we had a pretty good event last year. I thought you guys did okay with this. I thought the new 12-teamer was pretty good, and all you've done is sort of complain about it, and why would you go about complaining about your big event and your new product, your shiny new toy? So that's one of the things that's really stood out to me, because it's been a through line through all the media days.
It's interesting you bring that up, because I've just thought the last few days everybody's grandstanding, and it's one of those situations, and you just said it, that this may be a good thing if it doesn't expand beyond 12 teams.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think anybody was asking for expansion. This was all internal. Again, I also keep going back to, and something that was really highlighted for me yesterday for whatever reason. It's just if I have, this is their product, right? The college football playoff is their crown jewel event, and they expanded it and debuted this 12-team event. And I know it wasn't perfect, and the seeding thing created some weird matchups, and there were some lopsided games. But, hey, football always provides lopsided postseason games. It's just kind of the way it is, right? But to then spend all this time telling the world how it stinks, right? I mean, like, oh, we don't like this about it. This isn't good. This isn't great. We don't like the selection committee. Like, I feel like you're just undermining your – like, I wouldn't open a business and then have it be fairly successful in the first few months and then say, you know what, we need to improve it. And then not only do we need to improve it, but we really don't even like what our product, you know?
Yeah.
I just feel like they've undermined. So now if it doesn't expand, I feel like they've almost undermined what they do have, which I thought was pretty good. You know, how do you build confidence and likability in your product if you are the one bashing it?
Well, Ralph, let's think about this. They don't have a business. Like, nobody's in charge of a business. They have a conference. And these guys are all grandstanding on behalf of their conference to get more teams in. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Who are you trying to convince? Who's in charge? Like, this isn't a voting public that you're trying to convince to get on your side. And nobody's talking about, like, the holistic part of college football. They're just all talking about their conference. And, I mean, you know, what is the Big Ten doing having a media days in Vegas? For what? Like, you've eliminated people that want to cover your sport that live down the street or a couple hours away. They can't get out there. 3-hour time difference. It's just, I mean, what are we doing?
It does speak to the bigger problem that's been a bigger problem in college sports for a long time. As you said, nobody's in charge. Everybody very much acts locally because that's their job. You know, that's the other frustrating part about it too. And I can't remember who I was talking to that sort of brought this up, but it was a good point. It's like we can be critical of the way they act to protect their self-interest, but protecting their self-interest is their job. Like, protecting the interest of their conference. So, again, it's frustrating that they act that way, but that is the job description.
Yeah, it's the way it's set up.
Yeah, and I hearken back to SEC spring meetings when I asked the question of Greg Sankey that kind of set him off about the good of the game and how do you balance the good of the SEC with the good of the broader, you know, product. And I think, you know, frankly, like, Greg's been asked that a lot because he's the guy who has been around this the longest, and I think he does have an appreciation for the bigger picture of college sports. So I think that he doesn't like to necessarily be questioned about his motives that way. But again, you're right. It's sort of it's the core problem with all of college sports. And again, when I bring it back to the playoff, as you said, you know, the other thing that sort of amazes me is, like, wait a second, Big Ten, you got 4 teams in last year, right? Like how many more do you need? And even the SEC, I go back to them, they only got 3, and it turned out to be, you know, they treat it like a disaster because the worst Alabama team in the last 20 years didn't make the playoff. Like, guys, it's okay. Everything, like, last year turned out pretty good. It's never going to be perfect. So the idea that everybody's rushing to just say, like, this is wrong, we got to change this, and we didn't like the way this worked out. Like, again, how do you sell your product that way? You know, as people who are, as, again, owners of a business, but you're right, like, that's not their business is not running the playoff. Their business is making sure their business is taken care of in the playoff. That's their business, right? Their business is making sure the interest of their conference is taken care of within the playoff. And as you said, it's not the way it should be. It's not the way it should be. It's got to be a better way.
So let's get into football season. Ralph Russo, covering college football from The Athletic, and maybe a little broader question here, but I'm coming at it from an Arkansas perspective, and this is what we end up talking about a lot of the time, and that is how an Arkansas team competes in this environment. I see, Texas Tech and all the NIL money. I saw a story today that Missouri has some new state legislation that allows more money and that they're going to have, $31 million or whatever. we in college football know that the traditional powers win. I mean, the teams with the best recruiting bases win more than anybody else. How does a team like Arkansas, in your opinion, compete in this environment? And by the way, if they did expand the playoff, I think it opens up, obviously it expands it and opens opportunities for more Arkansas-like teams, perhaps to make the playoff. But how do they compete in this environment, in your opinion?
So that brings a couple of things to mind, and one is, I'm sorry, I'm going to be it's a little bit of a tangent, but if you give me a little breath here, I think it might be relevant, and it's this idea that we have gotten very obsessed with like money and competitive balance in the NIL era, with the money going to the players, and I just get a little frustrated. Money has always been a factor, and a major factor, like the amount of resources schools have, and the fact that it is not equal, and that it is not, we do not live in a salary capped professional sports, ecosystem in college sports where we have competitive balance and they moderate the money. So I get a little, and I'm not pointing to you. I'm talking about people in college sports. I get a little frustrated when we talk about, boy, all this money is creating all this competitive balance. What will we do for the schools that can't spend enough? Nobody seemed to worry about that when all the money was going to the coaches and the administrators and the facilities. Now we worry about competitive balance and money when it's going to the players. So that little part of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, money has always decided who's good and who's not in college sports. So, as far as Arkansas, listen, Arkansas, they're not poor, right? There's money, there's SEC money there. So I do understand, and I do believe. Now, again, I say what I say, and I think that there is an idea that this revenue sharing is going to create a little bit more balance. But we've already seen through some of the rulings and some of the way we think collectives, and that's not completely set in stone yet, might be dealt with, that we might moderate some of the money to a certain degree. I think the market might moderate some of the money to a certain degree. But, I think I don't know if this is, in the bigger picture, that much different than what we've had. So when you say, can Arkansas compete in this environment, I would look to the last 15 to 20 years and say, hey, the environment's not that much different. We're just spending the money on different places. So I don't know if that might not be uplifting to Arkansas fans, but I'm not sure how much the pecking order is going to be changed now that we're spending the money on the players and not just coaches, facilities, and everything else they figured ways to spend money on as the coffers were getting, more and more full over the last, few decades.
When we look at the league this year, Alabama, you mentioned the worst year they've had in like 20 years, and I think they win 9 games.
Yeah, but not that bad.
Yeah, but is there somebody in the league this year that you think is going to surprise the SEC?
So, listen, it's hard to be, as you said, it's hard to be a surprise in the SEC. They are pretty top heavy. So then you start looking at like what are those like second, third tier teams, the teams that you think of in the middle of the pack. Does Auburn? That would be a surprise, right? I think if Auburn contended, like really made a serious contention for the SEC championship and a playoff spot, coming off of 2 losing seasons, that's a lot to put on Jackson Arnold. So again, I'm not 100. I'm if you're looking for just some candidates, I would circle Auburn. But even if you look at like Florida and Oklahoma, like Florida is probably going to be a top 15 to 20 team when we start the season. So I'm not sure how surprising, considering the way they ended the season, how surprising they would be if they were up, fighting for the SEC championship. As bad as Oklahoma was last year, especially offensively because of all the injuries, I think a lot of people have fairly high expectations for a bounce back in Norman. By the way, probably needed by Brent Venables. There's a lot of money there, questions there, too, about whether they could afford to fire him, even if he has a little bit of a rough year. But the defense is pretty good, and they basically imported Washington State's offense with its coordinator and its quarterback, and that should be a pretty big improvement. So I kind of circle that bunch as like, I don't think we are going into the season thinking any of those teams would win the SEC, but I also wouldn't be shocked if one of that grouping, is really deeper into the mix than we are expecting now.
Ralph, let me ask you about Texas before you get out of here. Are they the new Alabama? And it just seems to me like Texas's inclusion in the SEC has made a great conference even greater. And, I mean, that's one of those teams that you talk about resources. I mean, they got everything. Yeah, and they are very well equipped in this new era, right? They've always had a lot of resources. Commandeering those resources to pay players in various ways, even as we transition to a system that might present a little more obstacles to how you get them paid than maybe the last couple of years, right? We need to maybe be a little more above board on how you get them paid, as opposed to just, here's $500,000, sign this football. So yeah, I think the structure of college football right now certainly favors Texas being very good. I think the fact that they finally sort of got their own house in order, alignment, coach, AD, people around the program, they all seem to be pulling the rope in the same direction. And you got a pretty good coach who sort of brought the Alabama way, Sark, after his time at Alabama, to Texas. So I think those two things make Texas, just as you said, Texas could be here for a while. They look like, I was down in Austin in the spring, and it looks like a program that's ready to make not just a run this year, but to stay there for an extended period of time. I think they're going to be preseason number one, and they look really, really loaded.
Yeah, Sark's a great fit, it seems like there. They've struggled with the great fit for a head coach for a while, and I think they nailed it with him. Ralph, great to have you on, always.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thanks a lot. We'll do it again.
Thanks a lot, guys. And again, anytime, just feel free to give a buzz.
We'll do it, man. Thank you. We look forward to getting into the season. All this talk about everything but what really is going to transpire in the field. I just think this is going to be a really good college football year. Every year is a great college football year, but for me, I think the portal's never been hotter and more volatile. Like in either you don't know which way it's going to go. More unpredictable that how teams are going to come out with the new players they have. What it's going to look like.
We talk about the portal a lot in terms of it not being good. If Arkansas turns out to be good, or if some of these other schools that have brought in a bunch of players out of the portal just suddenly turn out to be good, maybe it's not such a bad thing after all.
Hey, when you're planning your college football Saturdays, do it with Flight by Yingling.
There you go.
Yeah, pick up a flight. If you're out watching a game at Walk-Ons, Foghorns has it for $3.50 every day. Any restaurant you go to. And by the way, that's all day long. Flight by Yingling. You ask about it. It's a Yingling beer that's only 95 calories. It's the next generation of light beer, brewed at America's oldest brewery in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Flight by Yingling, raise the bar at 721. Good morning.
They're all crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a critical way. We got issues in this room. I'm going to be truthful about that.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Summer storms and heavy rains can sneak up fast, so make sure your gutters are ready to handle it all. Hog Trough Gutters, locally owned and operated with 30 years of experience, installs seamless gutters made on site to protect your home. They're fully licensed and insured. Every job is hydro tested, and each one comes with a 20-year warranty. Proudly serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. Schedule your free inspection today at hoggutters.com.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
All right, guys, you hear us talk about the Sweat and 'em Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show. You've got your summer lineup set, but what about your skincare? Sun, sweat, and all that time outside takes a toll. Hit up the spa at Sweat and 'em Cosmetic Surgery for a facial or sun damage repair. It's not just for the ladies, guys. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174 and get your skin in the game.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
That's special.
I'm leaving for more money if I can find it. The portal's open on the show.
Okay.
I think the NPR station's on the phone.
Nah, their funding's been cut.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Man, when breakfast shows up, everything just changes.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Yeah, Steve Graves on the Chick-fil-A train. Look at that.
Man, that's
Bang.
good. Those
Look,
minis are
wow. Bart is about to.
the truth.
The way I saw Bart putting condiments on his chicken biscuit over there.
What do you have on there, Bart?
I mean, it was a work of art. Like people could you would show up to watch what he was doing to that thing.
Come on, man.
What'd you put on there?
I mean, that is whoo.
Honey.
Honey. Okay.
How really? Do you have the restraint for that to sit there for a whole segment without eating it?
Sure.
You have that kind of discipline.
I may go get it.
Well, I'll eat it if Chuck is threatening me. I will eat it.
Yeah.
The Chevy of
I'll come over
Fayetteville
there and
Situation
get it.
Room invaded by Chuck for a chicken biscuit.
That's right.
Headline in the Fayetteville Flyer.
That's right.
It's not going to happen.
All right, so we heard from Ralph Russo. College football is whatever. Let's just go play the games now. And
yeah, let's get to that.
I'm interested to see.
Look, I mean, the same thing that I've been saying for a long time continues to be true, is that it's the supposed VIPs and the suits in the room that are screwing everything up for everybody else.
You have said that a long time.
And like the crap that the Big Ten commissioner has been throwing out there is just another example of that. Like, you want to talk about somebody who is so out of touch, not only with the fans, but with his own coaches. Like, I mean,
tell me more, Bart.
Get a grip, dude.
Tell me more.
Like,
so out of touch.
What makes him out of touch?
Are him and Doug Shal's get a vacation together?
Maybe. I don't know.
On the Bart celebrity cruise.
Oh boy. I mean, look, the latest.
We need a Bart band, like a Bart's Wall of Shame cruise. All the people Bart doesn't particularly care for, that he's just banished from sports. We got some of the biggest celebrities you can imagine.
You've been banished to the Bart cruise ship.
Well,
we got the Big
You
Ten
talked about getting
commissioner.
one of those guys on the show.
Wow, you got a lot of important people here. Yeah, they all suck.
Yeah, you put Eli Drinkwitz on that.
Yeah,
deal?
is he on there?
Is he on your wall?
Right now, he's not on the good list. I'll tell you that.
I like drinking.
I don't dislike him. I just dislike the stuff he's said and the way he's.
I don't like
acted.
Missouri continuing to beat Arkansas.
Well, nobody.
We need that to
does.
end.
Nobody does. Nobody likes that.
But anyhow, this whole Big Ten SEC thing, I don't really care about it anymore. I mean, I will
admit, I am sick of it too.
Yeah, they're messing it up for everybody else, man.
In what way?
In all ways. And not all of this is on Tony Petitti. A lot of it is just on the Big Ten in general and their past commissioners. I would make the argument, and I got into this just a little bit yesterday, but I would
Before Bo cut you off.
Yeah, I would
Just
make
a little bit.
I would make the argument.
I'm gonna eat. You talk.
You can make the argument that the Big Ten is responsible for almost all of the bad developments in college football over the past.
I thought you were going to say the world.
Years. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their stance is on certain.
Well, I think
topics.
if it wouldn't take a whole lot of digging in.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, and now you've got Tony Petitti saying he did an interview with ESPN's Heather Dinich, and he said that people hear automatic qualifiers talking about the playoff and have a misperception that the Big Ten wants to be handed something. And he said, "quote everything we're talking about is earning it on the field. To go through that type of gauntlet to get to the college football playoff is a lot." No, Tony, you are asking to be handed something. You are literally asking to be handed 4 spots in the college football playoff every year, regardless of whether or not those teams actually earned it. That's what you're asking for.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's put the 12 best teams in the playoff and see who wins.
Shocking. I mean,
hang on.
And I realize that's simplistic and it has no chance of happening.
This doesn't happen in any other sport.
Right, and we vote on who's going to be in there.
Like, this does not happen anywhere.
We vote. I mean,
well,
I guess
maybe when we were talking earlier about how basketball and baseball seem to, have a little bit more parity, maybe this part of it.
The SEC coaches are the ones who are right. They are spot on this, and they thankfully convinced Greg Sankey that Tony Petitti and the Big Ten is wrong. And the SEC coaches said, no. Conference champions, sure, they get an automatic spot, and then the rest is at-large teams. Because we want to reward the best teams, and we don't want an 8-4 Iowa team in the college football playoff, for example. Every time I hear Tony Petitti I'm like, how are you in a position of power in college football?
Well, I got to admit, Sankey falls into this category for me a little bit too, and I like Greg Sankey.
I don't disagree with that.
I've said that more than once, but there are times when these two commissioners get up there, and I don't really understand what they're saying, number one, but I know it's coming from a standpoint of how do I protect what I have. And, Ralph Russo said something. Well, Ralph Russo said something a little bit earlier, and we've said it before, too, on this show. It's not their job to be concerned about the greater good of college football. It's their job to protect their conference, well, then the system's not right. If doing your job comes at the expense of the greater good, then maybe you need to re-examine what your system is. Because I do agree that Sankey protects the SEC's assets very well, and Tony Petitti's trying to do the same thing. But, and both of them will tell you, I mean, they don't give a rip about college football in general. I mean, maybe they do, but it's not part of their job.
And that's part of the problem, Chuck, like you said. Like, that's an issue.
And I'm not overly idealistic. I mean, I understand how all this works. But,
Sure.
but back to Bo's point, I'm ready for the games to start.
Yeah,
I'm sick of all this crap.
When we come back, I'm going to change the topic. I'm going to change the topic. And let's find out, like, you, the listener, who would you pick for your emergency contact? Chuck? Edward?
I thought about that earlier.
Bart? Or me? Put it on the poll. Which one of us would you choose for an emergency contact?
I know he's going to finish last.
877-377-6963. If you want to weigh in on that, you can text or call the show. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'll just be open. Bart is on all my emergency contacts.
Bart would be Bart or Edward, either one.
I'm going to step on a nail in Cancun sometime on vacation and, be at a clinic and they're going to call Bart. Yeah. Bo's unconscious. Can he get a tetanus shot? Hey, if you're dealing with roof damage, or maybe you need a new roof put on your house, or maybe you're building a home, maybe you're a home builder, let me introduce you to Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do it all residential, commercial, whatever it is you need. The thing that you're going to love about them is the kind of people they are and how they are to work with. The communication is up front from the beginning. They walk you through the whole process, start to finish, and when they're done, they leave, and you have a beautiful roof and no mess. It's like they were never there. Check out their Facebook page. You can see the work they've done. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork. I got to be honest, and I may offend some people here, and I don't, it's fine.
You've done it before.
Well, probably a few minutes ago.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Did you know Chevy of Fayetteville is the #1 volume dealer in Northwest Arkansas? That means nobody sells more cars, trucks, or SUVs than Chevy of Fayetteville. They've been a part of our community for over 25 years. They're supporters of our local schools and the Razorbacks. And they're the best after the sale. An award-winning service and parts department, a waiting area, and complimentary loaners. So go see Chris Mark in Denver and the team at Chevy of Fayetteville, inside the Fayetteville Auto Park.
Know what else makes you an Arkansas Razorback fan? Going to the University of Arkansas. How about playing football for the team?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
everybody wants to win. When you, as a fan or a person or whoever, make everything about winning, you're saying that only winning is acceptable. And I guarantee you, you don't win every single day.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That's still hilarious.
Winning every day.
Winning
with
every
Bart
day
Pullman.
with Bart Pullman. All right, let's just get it out there. What is wrong with Arkansas football?
Well, based on some of the texts I've read this morning, everything.
And what is right with Arkansas football?
And these texters say nothing.
What is right with Arkansas football? And what is wrong with Arkansas football? We're here for it. 877-377-6963.
Hey, here's the deal.
He's Bo. I'm Chuck.
Yeah. For a lot of people, it's, hey, when you win, it's right. When you lose, it's wrong. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. You can
there's
talk about good things. If you don't win, they don't care.
Boy, there's a lot of predicting going on. But by the way, Jackson keeps us apprised of what's happening on the internet. And he says moments ago, apparently you guys are telling people that they should be happy with a 7-6 record. And I don't remember ever telling anybody they should be happy about any record. So just for the record.
Again.
And then Edward asked me, he goes, well, what about like life in general?
I just wish I was making all this money that Hunter pays us under the table to say all the good things.
If you
I don't know where
knew,
my money is.
If you only knew how much more money we could make to do something different.
Well, yeah, that's exactly
You know? It's been volatile out here. We've wandered into the Sharks today and yesterday and the day before when you start talking about football season. I do think that there are some people saying I'm interested to hear what Phil Steele has to say, and I'm interested to hear how he sees the roster given all the transfers. But man, the guy we had on yesterday, Emory Hunt Jr., you think Arkansas's got a chance to win a couple more ball games than 6 with what he had to say about Talon, the running back from New Mexico State, the defensive line. And this guy studies all levels of football. He knows some of these guys they've brought in that we don't know.
And he may be right, he may be wrong, just like all the other people out there that are predicting how the season's going to go. That's part of the fun of predicting how the season's going to go, is hearing everyone's opinion. But unfortunately, when things are in some people's minds as they are right now, if someone has a different opinion than you, they're an idiot. They're the stupidest person alive, and that's
the world we live in.
That's the world we live in now. You're right. Yeah. We have no problem at all.
And also, we live in a world where two things can't be true. You can be unhappy with where you are and acknowledge that the situation's way better than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that's two things.
That's what I mean. That two things can be
I'm
true.
saying.
Yeah. Two things can be true.
Only one of those things can be true.
Right, apparently.
Yeah.
By the way, it's National Drive-Through Day, and I want to thank Steve Graves for bringing driving through Chick-fil-A. And Bart has he annihilated that chicken biscuit in the break.
Yes, I did.
So good job out of you. National Refreshment Day as well. And it's National Kiss Your Cousin. No, that's not it. National Cousins Day.
Whoa.
Sorry, that was a typo. National Cousins Day. Not National Kissing Cousins Day.
A typo?
Yeah. I had a note about something else that bled in that right there, and so it just caused a verbal typo. Yeah. Good stuff. Bill Belichick's debut at North Carolina. Let me hit some headlines here because we've obviously hit a slow point in the show. Bill Belichick's season debut is sold out. North Carolina announced Wednesday that all season and single-game football tickets are sold out. Earliest point ever for the program. UNC is paying Belichick $10 million. And he's brought in 70 new players, 40 from the transfer portal. 30 new recruits and 40 from the transfer portal. Comments, thoughts?
I wonder.
Is that going to work?
I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I've said this from the beginning. I just have a difficult time believing this thing's going to work there. He's got what'd you say, Bart? 70 new players. Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's very many coaches out there that can just wave the magic wand and have average players become great players by spending a few weeks in camp.
Is he going to have great quarterback play?
Hey, listen, this is a little bit of a case study. If it's all about the coach, we'll get an indication of that. If they go, have a 10-win season. I mean, they just paid. Well, they did what all these people in Arkansas want the athletic department to do. They went and paid $10 million for a Hall of Fame coach. Never mind, he wasn't. They did the equivalent of the whole John Gruden thing that people have been talking about for 2 decades around here. Go pay John Gruden $10 million. We'll prove to you can win at Arkansas. That's what they did. They placed their bet with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
Well, but look at what's happened since he was hired. I remember when he was hired. This is going to be a pipeline to the NFL. This is going to be everything that anyone could ever want. And then the girlfriend got into the picture. And then all of a sudden, people started talking about
turned into a little bit of a cartoon show.
It kind of turned into a reality soap opera over there. And it suddenly, and for a long time now, it's really not been about the football. It's been about Bill Belichick and his lifestyle. And I don't know. I just have a lot of reservations about that.
I just think that there's one simple fact that I don't feel like people are talking about enough. Bill Belichick's record as a head coach without Tom Brady as his quarterback is very not good.
It's very average. Not good. Yeah. Pedestrian.
Extremely pedestrian.
Okay.
And so, that's if he doesn't have a great quarterback at North Carolina, it doesn't, I'm not sure it matters.
Well, look, I'm just saying, though. Tell me, is my point about
you're exactly right.
Your gamble on the coach. It's all about the coach. They've made it all about the coach. Right. The coach runs the organization. He's going to make everything work. Everything's going to be fixed. He's bringing in all new players. He's bringing his girlfriend. He's bringing his director, the Lombardi guy, that, NFL front
Michael
office
Lombardi.
dude. This is the setup.
How long does he stay?
This is the setup. Does it work or not? You don't think it works. I don't know that it works. I think there's so much more. This is my point. There's so much more, guys, than just coaching. There's so much more. We pin everything on who your head coach is going to be. And it matters. I'm not trying to say it doesn't. I'm just saying there's more to it. Hey, if you're looking to go somewhere, maybe a North Carolina game this year, it's sold out. But if you're thinking about going to a Razorback game, an away game, you want to fly in and out on the same day, Jet Aircraft can make it happen. You just pull right up to the plane, park your car right there. They're going to valet it, detail it. You're going to get on the plane, you and 8 friends, all the luggage you want. You can play golf while you're gone. Take all your golf clubs. They'll cater it for you, all the drinks you want on board. And if you're a business travel, like a business person that's got to travel privately a lot, ask about the Jet Card. Great options there, different perks. Jet Aircraft, jetnwa.com. That's jet with 2 T's. jetnwa.com. Get more there. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. We're just kind of wading through it, figuring it out with you this morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time Hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more, they carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Bo, and for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page, Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork.
When is the last time you thought, oh, the SEC's making an announcement today, and it's going to be good for the Hogs?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know much about new items, really. I mean, I go to the store. I see lots of things that baffle me.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, folks, if you've been hurt in an accident or you're dealing with a disability claim, you need someone in your corner who knows the law and fights hard for what you deserve. And That's where Cadell Rentals comes in. They've been serving Arkansans for 30 years, handling everything from car and truck accidents to Social Security disability and personal injury cases. The best part, they offer free consultations. You can talk to an attorney about your case with zero obligation. It's real help from people who care, from people who understand their business. Call Cadell Rentals today, 866-314-3728, or visit CadellRentals.com.
Gage Wood has signed his contract with the Phillies. He's moving to Clearwater. He was at the Phillies game last night. $3 million is his signing bonus. He was picked 5 spots ahead of Vahiva Aloy. Vahiva Aloy got $42,800 more than Gage Wood got. Do you think he's upset about it?
It's a long way from Batesville. I mean, wow, that's great. Good for him.
Yeah. I think Gage is probably okay with the discrepancy, even though he got picked 5 spots higher. Davalon signed for $2 million, and Zach Root signed for $2.2 million. So the top 4 guys have signed.
Did you read the article about that one guy saying that Davalon was the best hitter in the draft? Yeah. I mean, saying the Dodgers got a steal, essentially.
I mean, everybody said he looked just like Lenny Dykstra.
He did.
Almost 8 o'clock. Phil Steele next.
Why deal with the stress of commercial travel when you can fly on your schedule with Jet Aircraft? No TSA lines, no baggage claim, no waiting around. Just you and your crew flying in comfort and style. Whether it's a weekend getaway, a golf trip, or planning your football travel for the fall, Jet makes it easy. Seats up to 9 with a full bar, custom catering, and plenty of space. Visit Jet NWA for pricing and more. That's Jet with 2 T's.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
We were 0-5. They put us all in the coffin. They just didn't put the nails in.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Well, the reality is, guys, in the sports world, fans, we all think we know. We know everything about sports. We have all the answers. Now, when you take your car down to get it fixed, you don't look at the guy and go, that's not how you do that. Are you an idiot? That's not how that works. You don't go to the doctor's office and say, I don't know. I don't really like. Some people are absolute know-it-alls. They want to tell the pilot how to fly the plane. But most of us know. We realize that's not our lane. But in sports, it's everybody's lane.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I went away about 5 years ago. I did not go to prison, but I went into the other parts of the sports media world, and we did not have a show. Prior to that, 12 years earlier, you did the same thing. Mm-hmm. Now we're together doing a show, and for the first time, we both get to talk to somebody we had previously on each of our shows, but together, and it's been too long. Phil Steele, who is the godfather of predicting college football, the Bible of college football, preseason, the Phil Steele Football Magazine, the author, the founder, is joining us on the Chuck and Bo Show. Phil, the pleasure is ours. We're happy you're here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you gentlemen doing this morning?
Never better.
Are doing great.
Never better.
We're excited about this, Phil. We've been looking forward to it all week.
Phil, I've told the story. I've told the story in the studio about 8 times this week. 1995, I get a copy of a magazine from some fella named Phil Steele with a letter saying he's open for interviews. And I can remember having you on the show. It had to have been the first year. I think 95 was your first year. Is that right?
That's right, 1995, the first year.
Wow. That's well, it's great to
what a
visit
reunion.
with you again. I know.
Hey, by the way, I greatly appreciate you having me on back then. It really helped start the magazine out. Remember back then there was probably, about 30 college football magazines on the market at that time?
There weren't very many. No. And back then you'd get a free copy of all of them with a cover letter saying so-and-so's available for interviews.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different now.
And Phil has withstood the test of time because he is more accurate than anyone when it comes to predicting college football. So, Phil, let's just jump right in. What do you think of Arkansas this year?
Well, I think that, Pittman did a good job last year getting them to a bowl. They're playing a killer schedule once again. I rated the 3rd toughest schedule in the entire country. But, you look at quarterback, they got Taylon Green back this year. Green started out last year a little slow, hit 49% with a 4.4 ratio his first 5 games, but then 65%, 11 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions after that. I think he really blended in with the Bobby Petrino offense. I like the running back core. They're deeper than they've been with Mike Washington coming in from New Mexico State, Braylon Russell, and Rodney Hill. You look at them up front on the offensive line. Pittman knows offensive lines, and I think they've got a good one this year. And defensively, Xavier Sorey coming back at linebacker. I think he's an NFL caliber dude. And this is an Arkansas team that can pretty much compete with anybody. I remember 2 years ago, they went through that gauntlet, at LSU, Texas A&M on the road, at Mississippi, at Alabama, and they almost won 3 of those games. So Pittman always pulls the upsets. Now, you look at this year's schedule, they're going to be an underdog at Mississippi, home to Notre Dame, at Tennessee, home to Texas A&M possibly, at LSU and at Texas. So there's going to be plenty of games. Vegas over under 5.5, but I like the over on that. I think Pittman pulls an upset or two, and I like what he's doing with the program. I wish they'd be playing Missouri's schedule one of these years.
Yeah, no kidding. It seems like they draw this on a routine basis. How much does the transfer portal impact, and not only what you do, I can only imagine what that's like, and I'm curious for you how that's been, but what you know about the transfer portal as it relates to Arkansas and how you think it might impact this team.
Well, first of all, I can tell you that this 2 portal thing has got to go. If we go to 1 portal, I'll be a happy camper. And, I start my coaches' conversations. I generally say, how you doing, Phil? And I started after the portal closed. And I'm like, a lot better now that the portal's closed. And then the coach chimes in and says, oh, you and me both. So, I mean, it's this year I can't tell you how many players came into teams in the winter and then left after spring practice was over. So it's getting to be a little bit on the ridiculous side. But, Pittman's doing what he has to do as far as the portal goes. They lose some players to the portal and are replenishing with them. I think he's doing a good job covering or bringing guys in. I do think the best teams this year are going to be the ones that are homegrown. I think the ones that, the freshmen have turned into sophomores, juniors, and have all played there. You look at Clemson last year, for example. They used the portal, but very little. Most of the players who were recruited by Clemson played at Clemson, and they have a great team atmosphere and a cohesion. You go to the Big 12, team like Iowa State under Matt Campbell, they lose very little players, almost all the players homegrown. Ohio State won the national title last year. They had some transfers, but the majority of the team were recruited by Ohio State. Army and Navy had big years last year. So I think there's something to be said for the teams that, don't have to hit the portal so hard. But in Arkansas's case, Sam Pittman's had to hit the portal because of the players they've lost to it.
Phil, a little bit bigger picture question here. We've talked about Arkansas being in a group in the SEC that's trying to burst out of the pack, so to speak. It is hard to crack the glass ceiling in our league. Why do you think it's been difficult for Arkansas and maybe some of the other schools too?
Well, I think in Arkansas's case, at least recently, it has been the schedule. You take a look at a team, and I threw out Missouri as an example. Missouri plays the best schedule in the SEC. They avoid a ton of the big boys, play very few of them, and they've had double-digit wins the last couple of years. I think when you take a look at Arkansas, Missouri, look at the Arkansas-Missouri game last year. I thought Arkansas was going to win that thing in the fourth quarter. It was a snowy game, and then, Missouri ends up winning it close. But there wasn't much difference between the two schools last year, and yet Missouri was 10-3 and Arkansas was 7-6, and a lot of that was due to the schedule. So I think the schedule is a big thing. And let's take a look at Texas and Oklahoma. Those two teams came in from the Big 12. Texas played one of the best schedules in the SEC. Oklahoma played one of the toughest schedules, and look at the record of the two teams. So schedule has a lot to do with it. I know the SEC hasn't released their schedule for 2026 yet, but I'm hoping that Arkansas gets a break next year.
Yeah, well, I think everybody here is hoping the same thing because it hasn't happened. And you made an interesting point there, Phil, about the schedule really impacting how a fan feels about their team. Missouri ends up feeling a whole lot better, and granted, they won that game. I don't know how much better Arkansas fans would have felt about the entire season if they had won the game. But outside of them playing each other, you're saying that Arkansas has not been much different than they have, or some other teams. Their schedule's just been more difficult. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. If you took Arkansas and played them against Missouri's schedule last year, record would have been better. So, it's just the way it comes out sometimes, and schedule is a big thing in college football.
So, is there a surprise team? Who's your dark horse in the SEC this year?
Yeah, I got one for you. A team that was 6-7 last year that I think could make the playoff, and that is Oklahoma. And when I went over the team with Coach Venables, went over the roster at the end of the phone call, I'm like, damn, that's a playoff roster. And, there was nothing wrong with the defense last year. They played a schedule like Arkansas, one of the toughest in the SEC. They basically played all the big boys. They only had 3 home games last year in the SEC play because Texas was at a neutral site. And yet the defense held opponents to 87 yards per game below their average, number 6 in the country. Nothing wrong with that defense. Venables knows defense. They got 8 starters back. They got elite players like R. Mason Thomas. Then you look at them offensively last year. They had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. They lost their top 5 receivers to injury during the year. And it's no wonder that Jackson Arnold struggled at the quarterback position. Well, this year they've got a veteran offensive line. Bill Bedenbaugh still there as the offensive line coach. He'll have a top-notch unit. I think they go from a weakness to a strength on the O-line. Same thing at receiver. And I'm going to compare it to Clemson 2 years ago. Clemson with Cade Klubnik 2 years ago struggled offensively. They were good, but they're not great. Klubnik had a 19-9 ratio, I believe. It's because all his receivers were banged up at the start of the year. Last year, they got all those receivers back. They added in some talent, and all of a sudden, Klubnik's thrown for nearly 40 touchdown passes with 6 interceptions. A lot of it had to do with the receiving core. That's going to be the same thing with Oklahoma. They get Deion Burks back. They add in some transfers. They get the injured players back. And then you look at the quarterback. John Mateer comes in from Washington State. He's a dangerous runner and thrower. And they bring the Washington State offense with them. Brent Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator. They add in Jaden Ott, who I thought was the best running back in the Pac-12 2 years ago. He was banged up last year, sort of a shell of himself. He's back to 100% healthy. So with a vastly improved offense and that defense, and now they only have 3 true SEC road games this year because Texas is at a neutral site. With the schedule's tough, but it's more manageable than last year. I think Oklahoma's actually got a shot at making the playoffs, so they would be my surprise. They are my number one surprise team in the country.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that from a few different sources now. All right, let me go on Arkansas' schedule real quick for a second. They go to Memphis, and because Phil Steele knows about every college football team, do you think Arkansas is favored and should win that game at Memphis?
You know, Memphis, the thing about them, they are my pick. They're one of my picks they're my pick to win the American Conference this year. I know they lose their quarterback.
Well, that's
but I like
encouraging.
Brendan Lewis. Yeah. They got Brendan Lewis coming in at QB from Nevada. And Memphis has so much money, you know, through the NIL that they could build a pretty good roster. And when you look at Memphis, you know, they were the trendy pick to be the Group of 5 representative in the playoff last year, but I didn't have them because their toughest games were on the road last year, and they ended up losing a couple of those games. This year, their toughest games are at home, and they're almost unbeatable at home under Silverfield. He is 28-6 at home, so there's tougher team at home. But I like the fact it's early in the year. They've got a new quarterback. I think talent-wise, Arkansas is going to travel well there, so it's not like Memphis is going to have a massive home edge. So I think when you look at the game, I rate it right now a toss-up coming into the season. So that's a dangerous Memphis team.
All right, I want to go through a couple more Razorback opponents. Texas A&M is another one. They come to Fayetteville.
Yeah, I've got A&M, my number 2 surprise team this year. And, you know, when I talked to Coach Elko last year, and Elko pretty much tells it like it is, he told me about the offensive line last year. He said, Phil, we're middle of the pack in the SEC on the offensive line. This year when I'm talking to him about the offensive line, he says, Phil, we are at the top of the level of the SEC, and we're a candidate for the Joe Moore Award. So I like that when a coach tells it to you like it is. They've got Marcel Reed back at QB. They've got a veteran defense. Elko always gets the most out of his team. So I think that's going to be another game that I rate as a toss-up. I think A&M's a slightly better team this year. They're number 6 on my experience chart. They've got a lot of talent. Elko always gets the most, but Arkansas is at home. So that's going to be another one of those toss-up games for Arkansas.
And then right after that, they play Auburn at home, and I'm curious what you think about Auburn.
You know, Auburn is very few teams make my most improved list and don't go from a losing record to a bowl. Well, last year I had Auburn on my most improved list, and they actually went from minus 45 yards per game in SEC play. Every SEC game they were outgained by 45 yards per game. Last year they were plus 62 yards per game. So, yeah, they were vastly improved, but turnovers did them in. Well, if they can cut down on the turnovers, and I talked about Jackson Arnold and how he struggled at Oklahoma with no offensive line and no receivers, he's got to work with at Auburn, my number 12 rated offensive line, my number 6 set of receivers, and they've got a pretty good defense. So I think talent-wise, they're up there. I like the fact Arkansas is at home. I like the fact that Arkansas beat Auburn last year. So I've got Auburn a slight favorite in that game, about a 3.5-point favorite.
Now I got to ask, Phil, you've talked about A&M being a surprise team. You've talked about Oklahoma being a surprise team. That's going to come at the expense of somebody up toward the top, I would guess. I mean, who are the teams that maybe the consensus has them a little bit higher than you think they might be?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the one team would be a team that last year I was really bullish on this team. I had them ranked higher than everybody else at the start of the year, and that's South Carolina. I believe the South Carolina total last year in Vegas was 5.5, and they were picked at the lower part of the SEC, but I had them higher than everybody else. I loved their defensive front seven last year. It was absolutely dominant. And I thought Lenore Sellers was going to come in and star as a QB. And I wish he would have stayed healthy against LSU. They would have picked up another win there. Sellers is back. I believe he was voted first team all-conference at SEC Media Days, and South Carolina's a playoff caliber team. However, the things that I don't like about South Carolina this year, number one is the defensive front seven. And give you an idea, I'm on the Joe Moore Award Committee, and we're having a conversation, one of our conference calls on offensive lines, and somebody pointed out that, this offensive line struggled against South Carolina. Another guy piped up and said, everybody's offensive line struggles against South Carolina. They have a great defensive front seven. Well, guess what? The majority of that front seven's gone. Yes, Dylan Stewart's back, but they lose 5 of their top 6 guys from the defensive line. So I think they're not going to be as dominant defensively. They do have Sellers back. There is talent. There's no doubt about it. But then you look at their schedule. They have to play Missouri on the road, LSU on the road, Mississippi on the road, A&M on the road. They also host Oklahoma. That's a game I think Oklahoma could steal. They host Alabama. I think they'll be an underdog there. They host Clemson, and they play Virginia Tech in the opener. So they play the 4th toughest schedule, and I think with a weaker defensive front seven, or not as dominant a defensive front seven, they actually take a step back this year. I've got them 10th in the SEC, which is way lower than everybody else, but it's partially due to that. I think people are looking at the quarterback, but I think you also have to look at the defensive front seven.
I know you got to get out of here, Phil, but I'm just curious, and you can go as short or as long as you want on this. LSU and Texas on the back end of Arkansas' schedule, are they what people think they are? Are they as tough as it looks like they will be?
Talent-wise, I think Texas might have the most talent in the SEC this year. My biggest question mark with them is the offensive line. They only have one starter back. They do have talented guys there. They, of course, got – you guys may have heard of this guy, Arch Manning. Have you heard of him?
A lot of hype. A lot of hype.
Yeah. Getting a lot of hype. To live up to his hype, I think he'd have to have 60 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but he is going to have a really good year. I think he's a dangerous runner and passer. You look at him defensively, they might have the best defense in the country. I mean, Colin Simmons up front on the D-line with Trey Moore. Trey Moore is a guy they picked up from UTSA that was the American Defensive Player of the Year. Coach Traylor not happy about losing him. They've got Anthony Hill, one of the best defensive players in the country, a linebacker, Malik Muhammad at cornerback, Michael Taff at safety. They are loaded defensively. So they are an outstanding team. I didn't pick them to win the SEC because of the fact they have to play Georgia on the road, and they had some trouble getting past Georgia last year. They also play Florida in the Swamp, and they play Oklahoma and Dallas. They play Ohio State on the road in the opener. I think they might lose a game or two, but once they get to the playoff, as we saw with Ohio State last year, if you have all that talent, Arch Manning will be a veteran by then. They'll be a dangerous threat once the playoffs roll around. And with LSU, to me, a couple of keys for them. You have to look at the offensive line, which only has one starter back from last year. It's got to be the biggest question mark on the offense. Yes, they've got the quarterback. Garrett Neismeyer threw for 4,000 yards. He had 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Got to cut down on the interceptions. That was costly at times. But they've got the receiving core. Got to keep your eyes on is Chris Hilton. He was not 100% healthy. Got healthy the last couple of games of the season. He's got blazing speed. I think they do have the impact there. They hit the transfer portal hard. They sold out 75,000 season tickets. They've got Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks at linebacker, Patrick Payton up front on the D-line. They do have talent, but there are two. When you look at the schedule, they got to play Bama on the road. They've got to play Oklahoma on the road, and they've got to play Ole Miss on the road. Those are 3 pretty tough games, and, of course, Clemson in the opener. I think the pressure's on Brian Kelly this year. A lot of folks are calling for the playoff. I actually have Oklahoma making the playoff over LSU this year.
Great stuff, Phil. We could go on all day.
You,
we know you do. Thanks for getting us
great.
in your busy schedule. We appreciate it.
Hey, I always love talking football. And, hey, great to be back on with you guys again. We should do this more often. It was
let's do it
it's been
again.
quite some time since we chatted.
Let's do it again sometime during the season. Thanks, Phil.
That's
all the
terrific.
best to you. Good luck with the magazine.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
man.
one.
You too. Phil Steele, always the same, every time. Knows, like encyclopedia, just bam.
He was complimentary of Arkansas. I'm sure Hunter's paying him. He's probably got a check on the way out there right now.
Honestly, I didn't hear anybody that Phil wasn't complimentary about.
That's true. He's selling magazines.
I mean, well, but at the same time, I mean, he tells you, what he thinks going to happen, and those are like the
they don't
A&M,
like him in South Carolina.
The A&M Auburn games, like that's some interesting insight.
Those are two really important games.
And if you're trying to get ahead and you're trying to bet early here, Oaklawn Sports, download the app. You can do that on the 5.5 win total or many other futures when it comes to college football. New customers earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. We're a little bit over our head here, but we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Bo, and for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page, Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork. Today's been it's been a strange day.
Yeah, we've had some struggles here and there. Let's just be blunt. Can we be blunt?
Well, it's 50-50 at best.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You need to run that tape back for me, because that didn't happen. Don't come at me with that crap.
Don't come at me.
Yeah.
Not up in here.
Yeah. You must have your shows mixed up. Like, that didn't happen here, pal.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Yeah, baby. We got big things coming, Chuck. Jalen Williams is coming later this hour, 8:40. We'll talk to Jalen Williams. Celebration in Fort Smith for Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams today. Jalen's got basketball camps tomorrow at Northside, and then Saturday at Springdale. The early part of the day, 9 to noon, is the younger kids, and then I think it's like ages 10 to 14 in the afternoon. You can go to Jalen Williams Camp's Facebook page and register if you want to take your kids, or you want to try to pretend to be a kid and show up at one of the camps and participate.
Adult kids.
Yeah. What to Watch is brought to you by Macadoodles. Macadoodles, Wine Down Wednesday, every Wednesday, 15% off every bottle of wine in the store. But any day of the week, they have wine tasting open to close. On the weekends, they've got a spirit tasting bar set up. The reason people shop at Macadoodles and never really want to go anywhere else is because of the customer service. You walk in, and they are on the ready with whatever you need. They'll walk you through the whole store, every single thing you're looking for, or they'll leave you alone. If you want to do it yourself, they'll be available for you. They'll help you carry it all out to the vehicle. It's unmatched customer service, competitive pricing, and a selection that's unbeatable, including a great allocated section. Macadoodles, just north of the state line, just north of Bella Vista, and guess who in Bentonville with What to Watch? Because when you're watching things, you want to stock up for your get-together. Bart, what are we watching? And not always a TV show.
Yeah, so we are watching something involving television, and it's a deal that could be on the way between ESPN and the NFL for ESPN to acquire NFL Media, which runs the NFL Network and the extremely popular Red Zone channel. And I think I speak for most fans of the NFL when I say this is bad. We do not want this. Red Zone is perfect. We do not want ESPN getting their hands on it.
Look, I do shows for ESPN, so I'll be somewhat careful here. I agree with you. And here's why. I think when giant companies acquire more shows and more entities,
more assets.
It gets more assets is a better way to say it. It just kind of gets watered down. We have more people wearing, or less people wearing more hats. So we're trying to be more efficient, and we're trying to make more money. And the product overall, I think, can't help but suffer in some ways. That's just my opinion.
Well, when I watch the Red Zone now, and I won't say I watch it as much as Bart and Edward, but the promotion is the game. They're promoting the game. You know, you turn over and you watch games. ESPN is going to promote ESPN. I mean, that's what they're going to do. And it'll come at the expense of some of this stuff.
And here's the other thing that I guarantee will happen as a part of this. Like right now, you can add Red Zone to your YouTube TV package or whatever. It's relatively inexpensive in terms of a per month cost. I guarantee you this will end up on ESPN's app that you'll have to pay $30 a month for just to get the Red Zone.
I'm sure you're right.
And they will definitely add advertisements to it as well.
Oh, I'm quite sure you're correct on that.
All right, we're all rooting for that not to happen.
Yeah, we don't want it to happen, but it sounds like it's inevitable to me.
What to Watch brought to you by Macadoodles. We got a short segment here. We got Jalen Williams coming up in 10 minutes. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. The two best guys in mediocre sports radio.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
At the Stonebreaker Hotel, we believe in the art of gathering, whether over a thoughtfully prepared meal or a quiet moment on Markham Hill. Start your day with breakfast classics from the all-day menu, served from 7:30 to 1. Savor shareable bites from the bar and lounge menu until 10. And let the dinner menu from 5 to 9 bring familiar flavors with a fresh twist. And for a weekend well spent, how about brunch? Rooted in connection, designed for comfort. Learn more at stonebreakerhotel.com.
particularly in the South, I'm not sure there's a title that carries more weight than coach. Maybe preacher.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Top 10 in offense. I think we're better on defense. Our special teams are solid. We've got to learn how to finish games, and to me, it's all about we've got to learn how to could have a very special season because of the way our schedule lines up. We have to get more, and we can take care of the ball better, which I believe that we can. We all understand the offense a little bit better. Then we could have a very special season.
You're just going to have to go today. You're just going to have to. Today is going to be
what I
maybe
told myself.
one of those days you're just going to have to go, and you'll be glad you did.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Stunning and somewhat not stunning poll results.
Yeah, those are going to be big.
Who would be your emergency contact? When we get to that momentarily. After
Moments away.
Chuck tells us how we can road trip.
Hey, you can road trip right now. You need a new ride, and Fayetteville Auto Park's the place to go. They've got great brands, number one, Honda, Acura, Chevy, Toyota. They've got the widest pre-owned selection you're going to find. You're going to find the automobile that you're looking for when you go to Fayetteville Auto Park. That's one of the things I like. I like a great selection, and you find that there. But here's what's going to keep you coming back. You're going to get a great deal. That's a given. You can get a good deal just about anywhere if you get right down to it. But what happens when that deal is done? What happens when you need to have your car serviced, or there's a collision, or something comes up where you need them to be your friend the same way they were when they were trying to sell you that automobile? And that's what you find at Fayetteville Auto Park. That's why they've been in business for 25 years. And you can always log on, check out their selection, and it is vast at FayettevilleAutoPark.com.
I think if we asked the Auto Park, they would have different feelings on who their emergency contacts would be.
I guarantee you
on the
they
Chuck
would.
and Bo
They
show.
know us.
So we got Chuck, me, Edward, Bart. Of those 4, we put it on the poll on Twitter, right?
Yes.
That's part of the issue. What are the results? Who of us would be these people's emergency contact?
Yes, exactly.
So 47% of the vote says me.
Well, that's smart.
That's too
That's
low.
not a plurality,
That's too low.
though.
27% say Chuck.
That's dumb.
23% say Edward.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And 3% say Bo.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm the most reliable guy here.
Bo would be the one that would.
This is nothing more than my relationship with Twitter and the people that live
That's
there.
right. That's exactly right. This is
And
a
I don't want to be
commentary
your
on that.
damn emergency contact. You could just
I think you already are.
stay where you are. Lie there on the floor. I'm not coming to get you, Twitter.
Chuck is certainly not coming to get anybody.
And I'm not bitter about it either. Jalen Williams is next.
Do you think Kim Mulkey could operate a jackhammer?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
When it comes to watching games, nobody does it like Walk-Ons. Over 60 TVs at every location, and the food and drinks win. Mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys and gumbo, plus fan favorites like the best burger you can get anywhere, and more draft beers and cocktails than you can count. Incredible food, wonderful service, and a viewing experience like none other. Walk-On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call. There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
Summer storms and heavy rains can sneak up fast, so make sure your gutters are ready to handle it all. Hog Trough Gutters, locally owned and operated with 30 years of experience, installs seamless gutters made on site to protect your home. They're fully licensed and insured. Every job is hydro tested, and each one comes with a 20-year warranty.
Proudly serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. Schedule your free inspection today at hoggutters.com.
So I spent yesterday. You don't mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
This is talking season, but this has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Y'all know me. I think we've got a good football team. I think we've got a really good football team.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guess we'll find out.
It's going to be good stuff right here.
Yeah,
we will find out about that. Hey, there's a parade in Fort Smith tonight for Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe after winning the World Championship in the NBA. Congrats to them. We're going to talk to Jalen momentarily. The parade's going to begin at 6th and Garrison and end at 10th and Garrison, and the street will close at 5. They're having a celebration before that in the Bakery District Event Hub, Garrison Avenue Parade Route, all that area. It starts at 4 o'clock today. Big party from 4 to 8 for the Thunder winning the championship.
They're going to have a big time in Fort Smith today. And, there's camps going on, too. Jalen's going to have a camp in Fort Smith tomorrow and then Saturday in Springdale. 6 to 9, or ages 6 to 9 from 9 to noon, little kids, and then 10 to 14-year-olds from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And
so Northside tomorrow.
Northside tomorrow, Springdale High School Saturday.
And go to the Jalen Williams Basketball Camp Facebook page. You can register there. Jalen, good morning. Thanks for hopping on the show with us. Congratulations, man.
Hey, what's up? Thank you. I'm glad to be able to talk to y'all.
Well, it's great to have you back home for a minute. And as you know, everybody that's watched you grow up and then watched you as a Razorback, following your career, I mean, is this a little bit surreal right now as you sit back for a moment and take a little bit of it in?
Man, honestly, like it is. It's crazy. I think just thinking about it has been crazy. But I think when I'm in the moment of this parade, like I think I'm gonna be just mind blown. And of course, we had the parade in Oklahoma, and it was incredible. But being able to have a parade and a celebration in my hometown, like the city I grew up in, and like seeing so many people that I've grown up with and I've seen my whole life excited for something for our city to do, like there's no words, honestly.
Jalen, you know, we watched you when you were here, obviously, grow your relationship with the fans. Fans loved you. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the same thing in Oklahoma City, it seems like. What's it been like for you to be adopted by Oklahoma City and treated by their fans similarly to what you were at Arkansas?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think that we have the best fans in the world, and of course, there's no closer team to Arkansas, and it really shows. And the fans in Oklahoma have been incredible. They've always been so nice. They treat all of the players like family, and I always tell this story. My first house that I moved into when I got to Oklahoma was in a retirement neighborhood. So all of my neighbors are like 70,
That's awesome.
60, 70, 80 years old, and as soon as I moved in, like, everybody started calling me the neighborhood grandchild, and like I had ladies bringing me cookies every other week.
Oh, that's perfect for you.
It was just super sweet, and the fans in Oklahoma have always been super sweet, super kind to myself and my whole family.
I see you're working out some at the basketball facility. You know, some guys just don't forget where they're from. You, Isaiah Joe, in this parade you're going to have. What's it like to have played at Arkansas, be loved as a Razorback? I think you probably took another charge in somebody's mind about 5 minutes ago. I mean, you're always just a hard worker. Chuck mentioned just, you know, the fans loved you, fan favorite. But to be able to come back to that, what's that mean to you guys?
Yeah, it means the world. This is my first time actually working out here for a good amount of time since I've left to play in the NBA, and honestly, it's been a great month. I've had a lot of friends and family down. I've been able to see my family, go out, eat with them. Just working out in an area that I feel comfortable has been incredible. When I look at it, I always say like I kind of keep track of like the recruiting and see what guys come to Arkansas and basketball, football, and all this, and I always talk to my homeboys about it, and I say, like, as an Arkansas guy, I don't see why you would ever go somewhere else when it's the possibility to get the love and the support that you do from Arkansas if you stay home. And being here has made me realize why I always love it, and I always will come back.
Jalen, tell us about life in the NBA, and I wonder what you've learned in a short amount of time about what it takes to stick, not just make a roster, but stick. What have you learned so far?
Yeah, everybody in the NBA is a great player. Like the best player to the worst player in the NBA they're great players. The worst player in the NBA, whoever it is, would dominate on the college level or would dominate on the high school level or the AAU, whatever it is. And guys are so good in the NBA, you have to find ways to stick out, to be better than somebody else that aren't basketball. And if it comes down, if you have two guys that have the same exact skills and that are same height and same athletic ability, it comes down to who's the better teammate or who's on time more often or who's in the gym more often. It comes down to those small things. And I've kind of just learned throughout my 3 years that you got to be a pro, and you got to be a pro in every aspect of life, of being on time or being there for your workout or being there for your teammates, being a great guy around the coaches or a great guy around the community. And to be a pro in basketball, to be a pro in the sport, you have to be a pro in life.
What was it like defending Jokic, man? I got to ask you about that.
Yeah, he's a great player, and
you did a pretty good job against him.
Yeah, I did what I could, but he's a great player, of course, and he had great games, and he's won multiple MVPs for a reason, and he's one of the best to play in the NBA, best to play basketball, and he's a great player, but I love competition, so when I went out there, I was just trying to make it as hard as I could for him.
Jalen Williams with us, just won the World Championship, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, Oklahoma City Thunder, teammate from high school, Isaiah Joe, former Razorback teammate. I mean, what a fun story. But just for you, man, like to finish that off. I mean, so many guys have Hall of Fame careers. I think of a guy like Charles Barkley, never got to have that moment. I mean, we talked about it being surreal, but what were the moments afterwards like, having the win in your belt, knowing that you got it done?
Yeah, it was crazy. You always hear, like, as a basketball player, of course, you grow up dreaming of playing in the NBA Finals, and you hear all these stories about what it's like when the confetti comes down, and what the champagne party's like when you go back to the locker room, or what the parade is like. And my standard, or my expectations for all of that was so high, and it got blown through the roof. And just being able to experience that with my family and the people I love, and seeing my dad at the back of the parade bus just recording everything, and then I had my homeboys on the bus, and they're just like hyping up random people in the crowd, and it's just, I don't know, just being able to experience that with my family. Like, I don't think there will be anything that'll top that anytime soon, and it makes you want to do it again. It makes you want to do it again.
Well, next time, hopefully, they won't give you a second-rate beer in the locker room, and then you have to ask where the tequila is. Hey, I got a recommendation for you. Flight by Yuengling. Tastes like a Yuengling, but it's only 95 calories. Yeah. It doesn't taste like that trash they were trying to get you to drink in the locker room.
That's funny.
Did you ever find the tequila?
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. I definitely did. But that was my first beer ever. I promised two of my teammates that if we won, that I would chug a beer with them, and of course I did, and that was my first beer ever.
The look on your face was priceless.
I think the only time I'll ever drink beer is if I win another championship. But I definitely found a lot of tequila. I got a lot of tequila companies sent me some tequila.
I was going to say.
And I have my fair share of it.
I bet they did. Well, that's some adult conversation.
Yeah,
now to the kid conversation to wrap this up.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your camp, Jalen. I'll tell you what stuck out to me when I looked at the flyer, jumped out at me, $25. You're not doing this to get rich. I mean, you're not doing this to make a haul. You're doing this for the kids in Fort Smith and Springdale. I just think that's admirable. And kind of tell us what it's going to be like for these kids. What kind of day you've got in store for them?
Yeah, and first I want to start with this. The camp would be free. Like, it was free last year, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this. So, Jenny, if you're listening, I'm not supposed to say this. I'm sorry, but it was free last year, and last year the camp sold out in like 50 seconds, right? And there's 75 spots per camp, and we get to the week of the camp, and there's 5 to 10 people not showing up at the camp, and luckily there was extra people that showed up, and like we're just being nice and we let them in. But we get there's a lot of people that want to get into the camp, and when it comes to the camp, and we email the people and we're like, are y'all coming or not? And they respond and say, sorry, we went on vacation. We had to put something on it so where if people can't show up, they email us to get their money back. And $25 ended up being that, and we gave spots to where there's maybe 25 spots per camp where we pick people in the less fortunate areas where they're able to come to the camp. So I wish it could be free, but for it to be the best camp it could possibly be, we had to put a little something on it. But for me, the camp. So I don't know if y'all remember or not. I don't know how long ago this was for y'all, but when you go back to school and when you're in elementary or junior high or whatever age it is, the first thing that I always remember was my teachers always asked me, always asked the class, like, what was your favorite thing you did this summer? And I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was saying, like, when these kids go back to school after this summer's over, like, I want at least half of these kids to be able to say, like, I went to the Jalen Williams camp, and it was a blast. And a kid isn't going to get 10 times better in a day. So when they go to these camps, I want them to have fun. I want them to have opportunities that they love. I want them to be around an NBA player and share that experience and just have fun. Honestly, just have fun. And I know it's only a 3-hour camp, but I want them to be able to talk about it for the rest of the day. So
that's all. They're going to talk about it. Yeah, they're going to talk about it for the rest of their lives, man. Listen, the impact you're having is tremendous, and we applaud you guys for that. I love that you're coming back doing this. I love you're coming back to celebrate with the people you grew up with. You're a great Razorback, a great dude, and we loved having you on today, man.
Thank you,
we wish you and by the way, congrats on your new contract.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, Jalen. We'll talk again. Yeah, man. Anytime. Thank you for hopping on.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. So the parade's tonight in Fort Smith. Just let me know where we are on time here. The parade's tonight in Fort Smith at 6 o'clock. They're going to shut the streets down at 5 down there in Fort Smith at Garrison Avenue and 6th and Garrison, and then it'll end at 10th and Garrison. Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams. And then Jalen's got his basketball camps tomorrow morning at Northside and then Springdale on Saturday. And go to their Facebook page, Jalen Williams Basketball Camps Facebook page. I don't know if you can still get in, but you can find out there, or you could register for next year.
Can we register? Can I go?
I mean, I think we can go and observe.
Work on some skills.
I think we get Work
on that defensive stance.
I don't know at this point, Chuck, if it's going to do
I'd
much
take a
good.
charge. I would take a charge.
You would take a charge. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I could probably pick someone else that you could take one from.
I want to take a charge.
I'm gonna have. I tell you what.
Charge from Bo.
I'll tell you what. We'll do Wright's barbecue. We'll have him. We'll have them roll over you with a charge.
Well, that's
all right.
different.
Chuck and Bo show. Have a great day. We're back and trying again tomorrow.
And I listen in every day. Everybody know that. I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
Good.
The Chuck and Bo Show.